Howard and I are participating in what should be the ultimate event ever to take place in the lab. We have the best in pudding. Yes, Jello brand Jello pudding. This stuff is made especially to be worn by a certain person. Look, soupy. Too soupy? Who is it?
Who's me?
Who's me?
Average everyday photographer.
Oh. Howard. Look at the consistency of this. Looks good. Chocolate pudding. I think we should put another box.
Go ahead. Pretty good too. Pudding.
Pudding.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's pudding. If you ask me, that is pudding.
The man has whipped cream. It's got a stick for it. It can't just run down.
Oh, it's gonna stick, believe me.
Oh my god. Lock it low. Alright.
You know,
Shoot it. is it? Hello.
There's other people that are involved in this. Yes. They pick it what did they use it, Howard? Let's say that was Dave, Howard, Dave, Steve, and Kate Scott.
Here you have it, folks. Jump with camera. The True Saga. Personalities. Of course, we have Tracy McDonald over there. Dave over there. Of course, you notice Maddie and myself are over here, away from it all, trying to eat. Trying to eat. You notice the food is here. We're trying to eat our food. Maddie, how do you feel about this little ordeal? Same as I do. Yes, thank you.
Was it?
Some people I got it on a t-shirt. My coverall's got it too, and I'm not even wearing it.
What'd you say happened to you, Marie?
Tore my pants. It attacked me. I was molested by a boy. Wait, this is Tammy's area. Multi-use tool. Tags! Okay, you can finish the bottom now. Wait a minute, that's obscene! Oh, Marie! You know those underwear were on the
Looks like an under-over.
under, over, all around. Hi, Dad! Are you done yet?
You know what she puts in?
Guess what? It's now dirty.
My old coveralls are still standing in my closet.
Yeah, I leave mine. No, well, we should
Come on,
have
Tammy.
taken a picture. What's the
Sorry.
Put it in the
Not Tammy.
and then put a sign, right?
You want a postcard? Everybody do it. Come on, everybody. Come on. Leave her head. Leave me up. Woo! Ready?
Right, to the left or the right?
Oh, you guys are real close.
Words are out of
In a world by themselves.
There's a 20 inches out there.
Trace her out.
Is that folded in half? Wait a minute. This size? This is about 20
That's
inches.
it?
Hi, Dougie.
How's
it going, Dougie?
Your face is dirty, Dougie. Excuse
Yours
me.
is dirty too.
Can you do this, Dad?
Oh, look at the 35.
Behind
the ears.
Why not? Shoot your shoes.
It's a moving picture. It's a moving picture, so you do like this.
Oh, there you
Wait, we're gonna do Matt's face.
Okay.
That's one, that's two. Well, when I first saw it, it came on 66, and it was the very top of the dragon with the ridges on top, and it was really hard to make an impression of that. And when the other half came down, the rest of it, I should say, well, I'm looking at it now.
Tracy McDonald, don't do that.
It looks like a dragon, like it's supposed to. It's really difficult to say how well it looks and so forth because it's not all pieced together. Once we piece it together, we can get a better idea of what it really is.
I thought it was great that they came early. It started on a good start, getting things done early, but it was a little bit unexpected. And we got right into the forklifts to get it off and start off the float with two halves put together. It's all pretty exciting.
Fair. What do we have on the floor next to you?
This really is quite special, and right now what you're getting is a little sneak preview of the Rose Parade of in January of next year, because this is the model that the Cal Poly students made for their float coming up in '88. So it's entitled Imagine That, and it's, you know, a little boy reading a book and just, you know, pretending that his friend in the book is coming alive. Mm-hmm. It's really quite special. Cal Poly has had an entry in the Rose Parade for 40 years consecutive.
Maybe this year they will have a winning entry, and we have had the pleasure of having a sneak preview.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
How long will the fair be running this year?
Well, it started September 17th, and it'll run till Sunday, October 4th. So 18 days and nights.
18 days and nights. And how late in the evening?
Well, the float builders for the big Tournament of Roses parade today said that there might not be enough flowers to go around this year. As construction crews put their finishing touches on the skin and the mechanical parts of the floats, officials are turning a nervous eye to the weather. The extremely cold temperatures of the past week have cut down on the availability of some flowers, especially the widely used chrysanthemums. Growers are scrambling to find additional suppliers, but float builders are saying that there may be some blank spaces. The freezing temperatures have caused some flowers.
Cal Poly Universities of Pomona and San Luis Obispo have constructed a float for the Tournament of Roses Parade for the past 39 years. This year is the 40th consecutive entry, entitled Imagine That. The project is a volunteer effort by students from both campuses, each campus responsible for half of the float. The students design, construct, finance, and decorate the float. They also grow a majority of the flowers that are used to decorate it. This year, due to bad weather conditions, San Luis Obispo's flower crop has suffered major frost damage. The flowers would have covered a large portion of the float. The Cal Poly University's Rose Parade Committee is looking for monetary donations to aid in the purchase of flowers to replace those that were lost. If you would like to help us, please send a tax-deductible donation to Rose Float Committee, Cal Poly University, 3801 West Temple Avenue, Pomona, California, 91768. If you have questions, please call 869-3414. Make your checks payable to the Rose Float Committee. Any amount will be greatly appreciated. Thank you for your support.
Southern California has made it through its coldest December on record. You might not think that's a big deal.
Route this week, the early birds coped with the cold, which hit the 30s overnight.
Some simply ignored it. Others prepared for it.
Sleeping bags, blankets, propane heater, keeps the heat in.
And meanwhile, the float makers were coping too. It was so cold they lost part of their workforce to the ski slopes.
The lure of the snow versus the lure of putting flowers on floats, some of them weaken to the other.
A call for volunteers brought plenty of replacements, but the cold weather produced another shortage. Flowers, at least some varieties of them.
This year, hot pink carnations are in relatively short supply.
We're doing a lot of alternate planning, a lot of changing things in midstream.
Probably no more changing than the students working on the Cal Poly float entitled Imagine That, a dragon looking over the shoulder of a student who himself became an exercise in imagination.
Originally, we were planning to petal the face with pink gladiolas. And because our flower field froze and we didn't get enough, we then changed it to pink carnations. And we weren't able to purchase enough of those. And right now on the face is a lettuce seed to help build up the face.
The next step, a light-colored corn seed. And so it went as other floats took shape and color. Some improvising, but no compromising, the float makers insisted.
I think those of us in our business might say it'll look slightly different, but to the general public, they're not going to know the difference. It's still going to be the world's greatest flower show.
And still enough roses to call it the Rose Parade. David Dell, CBS News, Pasadena.
And later this hour on CBS This Morning, Kathleen will talk to Bob Barker, the host of today's Tournament of Roses parade. Right now, we'll go back to Harry.
Besides the tradition, of course, of just watching the parade, whether you're at home on television or live here in the streets, one of the traditions is Cal Poly and the students who like to sit across the street and cheer their floats on. This year will mark their 40th entry in the parade, and they always have some kind of mechanical wonder.
Oh, I'll never forget the first time I looked at one of their floats. Here are a bunch of kids, you know they're geniuses. They look like geniuses, and they are. They've got a computer in their float, and nobody had ever done that before. And all sorts of things happen to the float. This move, that move, so forth.
Well, the fun thing about it is nowadays those computers are so small, it literally is about the size of a little toaster. And Cal Poly today is not going to let us down. Bill and I had a preview the other day of their float, and it is quite spectacular. Lots of fun, and always with a lot of sense of humor. The interesting thing, though, is that Cal Poly students actually have to build their float on two separate campuses that are 240 miles apart. And then in the last days, in the last minutes, they get it all together.
Sure, even grow the flowers up in San Luis Obispo and some of them out here in Pomona, the other campus.
Good thing there's no rivalry there, at least this time of year.
The Founders Trophy for the most outstanding self-built entry is one of the real veterans of the Rose Parade. Making a 40th consecutive appearance here this year, Cal Poly University brings us another one of their highly animated floats called Imagine That. Move up close to your TV so you won't miss any of the float's whimsical movements. Now, a young boy reads a book and conjures up that outlandish dragon riding along with him. Now, the animation style features a microcomputer inside the float. Wouldn't you think that's just like Cal Poly?
Sure.
As light as a telephone, and it's so small that it would fit in a toaster oven. That's a small computer. The intricate planning and work involved more than 25,000 volunteer hours by students at Pomona and San Luis Obispo. They were 240 miles apart.
Well, look at this. Here are our friends from Cal Poly Universities, and they've won the Founders Trophy for the most outstanding self-decorated entry. You're moving a two-story statue by computer? Yes, indeed. 20 years ago, Cal Poly became an innovator in float animation. Today, a young reader brings a book to life in this year's entry called Imagine That. More than 75% of the flowers used in this float were grown at the two Cal Poly campuses. And the students donated over 25,000 hours of labor. I don't know if they studied that hard or not.
And, you know, Bill, to quote one of the Poly engineers, the animation utilizes state-of-the-art hydraulic proportional valves programmed by an ECX 188 bolt-in microcomputer. I don't know what that means in English. Look at the people going crazy over this float. Of course, those are the Cal Poly students who every year are right here in front of the Norton Simon.
Where's the big banner? They usually have a big banner. Oh, they're getting it up, a banner now down there. I see it.
This is their traditional spot in the parade, and so they, needless to say, are really cheering their own on. The interesting thing about that float, too, is that it's built on the two separate campuses 240 miles apart.
Dr. Sammy Lee, a platform diver, Korean gold medalist there, Peter Wittmar, Davy Green, all of them Olympics.
All on that float. Here's from Cal Poly. That's why you can hear all the noise across the street, because the Cal Poly students line the street.
Yes. This depicts, imagine that, when an author has made a child visualize what he wanted to teach him. Cal Poly builds its floats in 2 parts, one on each campus, pulls them together at the last minute, and they always have a bunch of students just thrilled that they made it.
Let's see if they throw water on them. Tradition. There you go. They threw the water, yes.
They always spray water on the crowd.
It won the Founders Trophy, by the way, awarded to the most outstanding entry built by members of the community or organization. And it's Cal Poly.
Wonderfully done.
We want to thank Cal Poly Universities for their entry. Imagine that.
Until we had to cry, and we loved right down to our last goodbye. We were the best. I think we'll ever be, just you and me, for just a moment. Chased that dream we never found. Sometimes we let one another down, but the love we made everything alright. We shone so bright, just a moment. Time goes on, people touch and they're gone, and you and I will never love again like we did then. When we both reminisce, we'll both say there wasn't too much we missed, and through the tears, we'll smile when we recall we had it all for just a moment. Time goes on, people touch